that was like 2022 January. Fast forward up to 2025, I've got 23 clients right now. Business is doing 6 figures in revenue, and
Hey guys, it's Jaime, CEO and owner of bookkeepers.com. I had a wonderful conversation with my friend Maxwell, who is actually one of our students, and I wanted to really understand his journey as an entrepreneur and as a bookkeeping business owner. I hope that you take the time to watch the entire video because there's a lot of good insights in there. Now, I do want to apologize. I totally blew it in recording this, so the quality of the video is going to be a little fuzzy, but the audio will still be there, so I apologize in advance. But don't let the video quality of this video stop you from watching this. There's going to be a lot that you can learn from his journey and some of the things that he mentioned that maybe you're going through as well. So let's dive straight into Maxwell's journey. I'm here today with Maxwell of Orlando, Florida. Is that right, Max?
that is correct. Orlando, Florida. Yeah.
Awesome. Maxwell, talk to us, like take us back. Everybody that's watching here, or I would say most of us, are bookkeeping business owners, and either we are bookkeeping business owners, or maybe we're aspiring bookkeeping business owners, or maybe just entrepreneurs in general.
Mhm.
You weren't always an entrepreneur, I assume. So tell us a little bit about your story, how you got started, and where you were. I don't know where that seed was planted for the first time that told you, hey, I should start something for myself.
Sure. Yeah. So I don't think I have like your generic story. I feel like the generic story is like, yeah, I went to school, got good grades, but I always, or maybe I didn't get good grades, but I always knew I was entrepreneurial. Like for me, it was, I just was floating. I had no direction, no real direction as a kid growing up. I always got bad grades. There was never got A's and B's once out of all quarters of, report cards or whatever in school. Um, Never got great grades. Was always distracted, floating through life. You know, not the typical person. I feel like, and then right around, I feel like this will really set the foundation here. Right, my lowest point, and then I'll work my way up. But I'd say my lowest point was probably 2018. At that point, I had academic suspension. I had no call. I had 48 college credits, but still no direction. Just working in restaurants for most of my life. I worked in restaurants for 10 years, but 2018 is where I recently broke up with my girlfriend. I didn't have a car. I had a broken bicycle. I didn't know it was broken at the time.
Oh no.
And so every bike ride was rough. And I'm like, oh, I just must be getting weaker. But yeah, broken up with my girlfriend. Almost had no job. Just recently got a new $12 an hour kitchen job. No car, broken bicycle. And I just moved into my new roommate at the time, Floyd, who is a 76-year-old man that I found on
Was
Craigslist.
not expecting that. Yeah.
No, no, neither was I. But there I was,
What year was this? Or just give us a ballpark.
2018. I was like just thinking about it for this interview, and I looked up in my Gmail and I found the signed agreement. It was April of 2018
Wow.
that I moved in with Floyd. Floyd and David. David was his other roommate, a 56-year-old guy. Nice guys, just not where I was expecting to be at, however old I was, like 25 or 26. So yeah, definitely just a bunch of poor decisions and no entrepreneurial spirit. I was a hard worker, but no direction, no focus. And that kind of landed me in that spot. And that was 2018. And yeah, that was definitely a rough patch. And at that point, my biggest thing is all I knew is working in restaurants. But at the same time, all I knew is I did not like working in restaurants. And hopefully, this can inspire someone that feels like they're trapped in the restaurant industry out there, because it is a trap. Like you start back of house, you think you escape by going front of house with the like server pay or bartender pay, but then you just get comfortable with that, and your resume is still restaurants. Anyway, so if hopefully someone working in restaurants, this can inspire them. But yeah, so 2018. Kept working, riding my bicycle. I was working at a kitchen shift at nighttime, and in the daytime, I would ride my bicycle 45 minutes one way to a UPS packing package handler, or whatever the job title is. And that was like probably half a year of UPS package handler in the morning, ride my bicycle back an hour one way, just so I can not even shower, just straight to the pizza place and make
Well,
pizzas, and then go back to Floyd's house and just watch like the Chiller or Sci-Fi Channel with this 76-year-old man. It was like it was like almost like a sitcom. It was weird. Um, but yeah, so that was 2018. And then, I kept working. I didn't have a lot of bills. Things were cheaper in general at that time. And I found some friends through my pizza kitchen job I worked at. And I was able to make my way in a new friend group. And they wanted to, like, they were moving. They're like, oh, hey, you're cool. You want to move in with us? So I was able to get out of Floyd's place, move in with them. And this was 2019. We moved in. And then towards the end of 2019, my friend randomly, my new friend group at the time, they were all going to go to Europe. And I was just randomly invited. And they were like, hey, dude, like, you want to go to Europe? And I could not afford this at the time. I was like $12,000 in credit card debt, not making a lot of money. But I just said, you know what? That sounds so cool. Yes, let's do it. So 2019 rolled around, September 2019, right before COVID. I went to Europe, absolutely had a blast. It was like 12-day trip, multiple countries in Europe. And ever since then, I came back, and that's where a seed was planted. Like, holy cow. Like, at the time, I knew I was, again, like, working in restaurants, didn't like restaurants. I was like trying to become a firefighter at the time. I just graduated EMT school, and I thought, like, I just want to be a firefighter because it wasn't in restaurants. And so, like,
yeah.
it was like a big driving force for me. Is like, I'm not running towards something, I'm running away from restaurants. And
Oh,
yeah,
that's big. That's a really good. Sorry to interrupt, but that's just a really really awesome point because sometimes think we have a goal, but really that goal is real. The goal is to run away from the restaurant industry. It wasn't
Mhm.
necessarily for you to become a firefighter, right? And anyways, I'm so sorry to interrupt, but that was I love what you said there.
I think for me, that was like one of the biggest realizations I had was like, I don't know, you feel like you listen to other people's stories and you're like, oh man, like they got it figured out. They always knew what they wanted, and I was always envious of these people who was like, oh yeah, I just knew I wanted to be this, or I knew I wanted this. But I always felt like dumb, and I would blame myself and I beat myself up. I'm like, I don't know what I want. I just know what I don't want.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It was like the motivation that drove me. Um, it's yeah, it's rough just working in restaurants. But yeah, that was 2019. Went to Europe. That planted a seed for sure of like it just, I don't know, it was like surreal having like a bird's eye view perspective of my life and what am I doing, where am I going, like all these big questions that I was too busy to like ask.
Do you
Uh,
think it was like the freedom of being like away that made you think that, like being in a different place? Like, what about Europe necessarily inspired it?
I think it was just kind of like this whole, it sounds, maybe it's cliche, but it's like this whole new world opened up literally. And I was like, man, this is so amazing to me. Like this feeling I get, like meeting new people, like on the other side of the world, and just how things are done over there, and just normal day to day activities that they like. They're like, "What do you mean? I'm just like making bread for my family." I'm like, "That's so cool that you're doing it." Like, I don't. It's like I don't know. It's just like all the small things, but it really just opened up my world of like,
Yeah.
to a point where I did have to stop, and it was just like I really enjoy this. And then it's just, I don't know, it's what to call it, but it's just one of those moments where you just kind of like look inside and you're, at your life, and you're like, is this where I want to be? Is this what I want to do? Like, and again, it was like all I knew is like, oh, I know I don't want to do restaurants, and firefighter is just, it's just there because it's not a restaurant, and so that's where it was like, all right, well, I'm trying to think of like, can I start running towards something instead of running away from something? And I guess that's where the seed was planted. Not even like an entrepreneurship. I never thought I would own my own business, but that's where the seed was planted of trying to run towards something in the sense of I wanted to be able to open up my laptop and make money, and so I could travel more. And that was like the sole that was like the first time I like the seed was planted of running towards something of like, if I could just work remotely, even if it was a W-2 job.
Yeah.
So,
So you'd say that that was your why, like to be able to work from anywhere and make
mhm.
money at from a coffee shop, from
Yeah,
Europe, from your home, wherever.
I
That was
love
the
the
reason.
cliche. Yeah, yeah, 100%. That was kind of the why, the seed of like, and it was planted or stemmed from just traveling to another country. And
Yeah.
it's, for me, it was like a life changing trip. And that's what sparked it. That's what planted the seed. And I knew I was always like, I was a very hard worker. In fact, I mean, I would sacrifice my health. I wouldn't eat. Like if I just wanted to get the job done and I wanted to do it better than everyone else around me. So I was never worried about working hard. It was the hardest part was like, what do I work on or what do I work towards?
Yeah.
And yeah, so after that trip, I went back to the States and that was like, so January 2020. So right now, obviously, that's where things are about to take another dip,
Oh
uh,
yeah.
with COVID. And, what worse resume to have than for COVID than just all restaurants,
Well,
all,
the restaurant industry just took a huge hit, right? Like it
yeah.
was, yeah,
It was the first time I figured out what it means to be furloughed. You're not like fired, but you're kind of fired for a short period of time. So yeah, I was furloughed, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Like that's where January and February, I was all over like the internet trying to figure out remote jobs or like how do I make money from my computer.
yeah.
And I looked into like programming. I was trying to teach myself like CSS, HTML, like some type of programming stuff, uh, and it just never clicked for me. But again, I was still I would have done it if it meant I wasn't working in restaurants. And finally, I felt like such an idiot. I was talking to my dad like February of 2020, and I was just trying to explain to him like, man, it would just be so cool if I could just make money from my laptop, like open up my laptop, make money. That'd be so cool. And my dad, this is where I felt like an idiot because my dad was like, oh, I could just teach you what I do. And at that point in time, he's already had his own bookkeeping business for like 28 years. And
It was right there in front of you the whole time.
yeah, and it was just one of those things. Maybe it was like, oh, well, that's what my dad does. Like, I'm not,
Yeah.
I wouldn't do that. And yeah, and like he just suggested like I could show you how I do this. It wasn't even like it was still rough. It wasn't like an easy like, oh yeah, he just showed me everything because he trains people like this all the time on how to start their own bookkeeping business. He was showing me like behind the scenes curtains of like, what it's like, QuickBooks Online, and we do some QuickBooks Online training, bank feeds, reconciliations, all that stuff. Um, but I was still like, so I would do a lot of training with my dad. Um, and then after that, I would like do my own YouTube training and uh, anything I can consume, LinkedIn, bookkeeping, accounting courses, uh, anything I can consume just to like, I didn't love it. And this was also like, I was still kind of running away from restaurants. I wasn't like, oh man, accounting and bookkeeping, like this is so exciting. Uh, it really wasn't exciting for me, but it was my opportunity. I could see the light at the end of the tunnel, like, oh, this
Yeah.
is my chance. Um, and so I was just trained under my dad for almost like 2 years, uh, 2 years, which is way too long, but it was, imposter syndrome and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, oh, there's no way I can
But
like,
you're learning a whole new skill, right? So like I get it.
yeah.
2 years, when you just think of 2 years, it does seem like a long time. But I,
Mhm.
I think learning a skill like bookkeeping or accounting, I think
Mhm.
it's like learning a new language. So 2 years is not a lot when you think about it like that.
Oh yeah, yeah. And it was learning accounting and then learning the software as well,
Yeah.
and then learning like dealing with people too and customers and stuff. And so I had the chance to like work behind the scenes, work under my dad, like help him out. And on top of this during COVID, I'm still like I casually just forget that, oh yeah, I also worked two part-time restaurant jobs and then DoorDash whenever I could, like had free time just to maybe barely make $2,000 a month, just so
Yeah.
which that would barely cover like my bills and maybe some credit card debt that I was still in. And then after that, in between those times, is like, all right, back to QuickBooks, time to figure out and QuickBooks Online, QuickBooks Desktop, because he was teaching me both and just like trying to figure this out. And it was just like that was a blur of my life of just like constant working. And if I wasn't working, then training. Um, and saying no to all my friends if I want to hang out and stuff. So that was a blur, but that was, you know, I think it was necessary for me to get to where I'm at now. And so yeah, that was fast forward like 2 years of just that was my training arc, in the superhero
Yeah.
movie, and and then like beginning of 2022, like January 2022, my dad's health took a dip. He had like a TIA stroke, or I think that's what it's called. Um, and he was kind of out of commission. He's better now, but he was out of commission beginning of 2022. And that was my chance. I had to like, I didn't want my dad's clients that he was taking care of to like, just be like, sorry, he's not going to, you don't have a bookkeeper for the next 6 months. So I had to step up to the plate because I didn't want my dad's clients to just, be like, what's going on? So I stepped up to the plate. I was helping them out. Like that was super stressful. And it's just a bunch of like just in time learning of like a client asking me for this, but what they really meant was this. And I had to like figure out on the QuickBooks side. And, uh, that really made the stuff stick.
And
Um,
Maxwell, what I'm just curious, what would have happened? You had a 2 year training arc, right? Learning the skill. Uh, let's say you didn't go through that and your father dealt with these health issues. What happens?
uh, if I didn't go through that training arc and my dad
Yeah.
had the health issues, we actually spoke about that. And it's like that would have been like a really really bad worst case scenario. Like he would
Yeah.
have clients that probably would have left, not because they're mad at him, but it's just kind of like, oh,
Yeah. They need a bookkeeper, right? So
yeah. And yeah, and then his source of income would have dropped, and that would have, you know
it's
uh,
just crazy how things worked out. Like you almost don't ever know why you're doing something or and something happens where you're like you look back and you're like, holy crap, that's it was a very unfortunate event that happened, right? That your dad dealt with some health issues, but
mhm.
the fact that you had this like 2 years to prepare for it, when you look back, you're like, it's just crazy how that worked out for
Yeah,
you guys to be able to be prepared for it.
yeah, no, and it was again, it was just kind of weird how it worked out, and luckily it worked out the way it did. And later as my dad's health bounced back, and then at that point we kind of agreed, like, you know what, like, uh, I think, yeah, towards the beginning of 2022, I said, you know what, if I'm gonna like take on all this stuff, I need an entity or an LLC, whatever. So that's when I started my own LLC and entity, January 2022, and just took them over. And when my dad's health came back, he kind of realized, like, you know what, like, I never liked those bookkeeping, like doing the bookkeeping, monthly bookkeeping tasks, or we called it write up work. How about you do the bookkeeping work and then we'll just split it 50-50, which was awesome.
It's a sweet deal, yeah.
Looking back, like like these weren't like golden clients. Like these are like 9 clients, and one of them was like $40 a month.
Oh,
It's
okay.
it's like these weren't like, oh wow, you got
Yeah, yeah.
9 clients that fell on your lap. He's like, well, you got some people that they're basically paying you as much as they were paying for the software for QuickBooks. But that was still like enough for me to like get those reps in and just get those reps. And like I just kept showing up, and eventually I dropped some clients and got some new clients. And that was like 2022 January. Fast forward up to 2025, I've got 23 clients right now. uh, Business is doing 6 figures in revenue. And uh, yeah, I did forget, along the way, I also, at that point I was like, I think it was like 2023, the end of 2023. At that point I was like, I am pretty good at this stuff. It's QuickBooks, it's bookkeeping stuff, and I got all this experience from my father, which really helped me fast forward too in a lot of aspects. And then I was still like trying to consume knowledge, and I came across the I Love Bookkeeping podcast. And that kind of led me towards like Ben Robinson, and all that stuff, and the Bookkeeper business launch and the courses. And I forget what it was, but I was like for months like listening to that stuff. And then eventually I just said, you know what, I don't think I'm good enough. Maybe this will make me better. And I'm glad I took it, because I thought it was good in all these different ways. Like I thought I knew what I was doing, and then it's like, oh, I should probably get SOPs, and oh, is like there's just like so much common mistakes that I was making. I had no pricing calculator, no nothing, and so that really refined my services towards the end of 2023, and I got the bundle course too, the marketing, the OPP stuff, and that fast forward now, it's like it's yeah, I'm running my own business, and again, I never thought I would be here. I was
Yeah.
just trying to get
Uh,
out of restaurants.
so
But
you mentioned that like a couple like your dad's clients were paying about $40 a month.
mhm,
After you went through the course and where you are now, what
mhm,
is and you don't have to have the exact number, but just give me a ballpark about
uh-huh.
what your average client pays you now.
Oh, the actually I've got a on my other screen.
You have the exact number? I love it.
Yeah, track them all. Yeah, so as of now, the average client price is 400 per month. So still kind of small, but
But 10 times what you mentioned before. Like
yeah,
that's incredible. Because I think it's awesome to hear that because I think there are a lot of people that are starting out that think, can I actually charge $400 a month? And
mhm,
your words, not mine. You said it's still low.
mhm, yeah,
Like my average is about 400, but it's still low, which is it's incredible because I agree with you. I think 400 is on the lower side, but it is a good number. Um,
yeah. That's just the average. I have clients where multiple clients I'm charging over $1,000 a month. Uh,
nice.
but yeah, that's I
Um,
mean that's something that's always like I think every business owner is like, should I be
yeah,
charging this much? Yeah.
yeah. Maxwell, is there anything in the so you work in the food industry for a long time? I worked in the food industry as a teenager. Is there anything that you like, any skill that you took out of that and has helped you in your business today? It's
Uh,
hard work. Like working in the food industry is not easy.
yeah. No, I mean, and it's definitely not easy, especially if you care about you have
Yeah.
pride in your work. Then you're doing five jobs while the other four people are taking smoke breaks.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Oh,
so
I know what that's like. Yeah.
yeah, and you're like, can I get a breath break or something? I don't
Yeah.
smoke. Uh, um, but yeah, a skill that I learned in restaurants that definitely applied today would probably just be um, dealing with high stress situations while you're talking to a customer. Front of house, I mean, it's crazy how some restaurants I'm a server, I got five tables, they're all full. It's
Yeah.
busy Saturday night, and then you have to like have this like calm, cool, collected, like, hey, so and so, I'm, just think on your feet and be quick and just be able to communicate effectively and clearly. Uh, I feel like that skill in itself has definitely translated over um, for sure. And yeah, I
It's
guess just
like everything behind the scenes is falling apart, but you come up
mhm.
with a smile on your face.
Yeah, I feel like you guys have no idea that the one of the kitchen guys in the back is like throwing up, or it's like it's just like they're fighting with another kitchen guy in the back over, and just like
Yeah.
ridiculous stuff. And then you have to be like, all right, how do I like tell the table that their food's going to be just another 10 minutes?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Do you
so I
think
like that.
do you think it helped with like customer service? I think it's, and you've kind of mentioned it with what you've said, but I feel like if there's one thing that I got out of one skill from working in the food industry is just customer service. You're going to deal with some real pain in the butts, to put it lightly, and you just develop thick skin and allow people to just throw their darts, and you just keep a smile on your face.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Just like dealing with the real tough customers too. On top of like there's 30 fires around you, and not only are you calm and collected, but you also have to, yeah, be diplomatic while you're talking to this person that's, one asking you like, oh, if your meatballs don't contain pork, but they contain veal, so you guys would rather kill a baby cow than a pig. And I'm like, what? I just work here, ma'am. I'm not, I don't know what to tell you.
Oh man, it was whenever I worked as a server. I vividly remember the day that I learned what a chicken salad sandwich is, which by the way I hate, I remember as a server I gave somebody a chicken sandwich, and they were like, "This is not a chicken salad sandwich," and I was like, "There's chicken in there. What are you talking about?"
Yeah, no,
But
it's tough. You know, it's
it's tough, and you don't get paid very well, right? Like you're working some very and you're working tough hours, sometimes holidays, weekends, the all the days that we don't want to be working. So
yeah,
it's pretty tough.
yeah, and weekends, and it's yeah, it's all if you have friends in the 9 to 5, like your
Yeah,
schedules are like almost opposite now, and then it's also tough too. I think people that work in restaurants, um, you know, it's like it's just a rough industry. And then after the shift, like if the restaurant like sells alcohol or beer, or even if there's, you know, everyone just after the shift, they'll like hang out at a bar afterwards and just drink and catch up. And like you're drinking alcohol, and it just like you stay up late, and then it just like starts eating to the next day, and you wake up tired, and then you spend all this money at the bar and the money that you didn't really have. And then it's just a cycle of like working this job you don't like and trying to cope with like alcohol or bars or whatever, and hanging out, and it's like you kind of like get attached to that like group you're drinking with afterwards, and it's just like this, it just turns into a cycle that then a blur, and then 5 years goes by and you're like, whoa, what
yeah.
happened?
I've been doing this for a while now. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But
Maxwell, do you have any siblings?
I actually have two. I'm the middle brother, but I've got an older brother and a younger brother.
That's why I
um
connect with you because I'm also a middle child.
No way. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
yeah, it's a definitely a weird weird position to be, and yeah, you're not the golden boy, you're not like the one that's baby, you're just like, ah, yeah, no, it's just Max.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
So what about them? Are they have they started businesses? Are they in a similar industry?
So my younger brother, he's done like kind of side work. He's a carpenter, handyman kind of guy working in a kitchen bath remodel company, and he'll do like side work, you know, for himself. So he's dipping his toe in like the entrepreneurial pool, just working for himself.
Yeah.
But he's never like gone full force or like try to make a jump. Even though I'm trying to like get him on board, is like you have an accountant in your corner.
Yeah.
My older brother, he's tried to start a tomahawk company, but he started out with like a partnership for his first time, and it just didn't work out, and that was it was yeah, it was rough. So they kind of dipped their toes in it, but you know,
Yeah.
I'm the one that
You're more of an official business owner. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, legally or
Uh,
whatever.
so I think that like having a good support system is huge when you're starting a business. Entrepreneurship can be very lonely. You obviously had a really good support system with your dad.
Mhm.
Is there anyone else that you kind of like credit to having that good support system? And did you have any like negative feedback from close ones that maybe told you that made you think twice about actually doing this?
Um, Luckily, I don't think I ever had anyone that was like trying to be negative and hold me back. Uh, Although ironically, I didn't learn this lesson until too late, but I was all for like asking my friends, like, yeah, what do you think about this? You know, my website, or asking basically my friends who had the best interest for me. But these were also people that have never started a business. They don't know what works in a business, but man,
Yeah.
they've got all the opinions. And so that was just it was weird. They weren't trying to like hold me back. They were trying to help, but it was just like mostly noise. And aside from my father as like a support system, uh, no, no, there was, it was honestly, I mean, there'd be other accountants like tax CPAs or enrolled agents
Sure, sure.
in our network, and I'd like talk to them. And I remember it was like always nice to talk to another accountant, especially if they're self-employed, because who wants to talk about being self-employed, and especially who wants to talk about accounting, like a
Yeah.
bookkeeping, and like no one ever wants to. So it did feel very lonely. It was really just felt like it was me and my dad, and that was like
Yeah.
Changed
Yeah.
my whole world when it came to support system for sure. Up until Bookkeeper Business launch, that's and like I went to BKX and I was like, whoa, there's actually a lot of people here just like me, and that was really cool. Just like venting or just talking about these problems that no one else in the world like will be able to relate to or even understand or want to listen to because they're boring. But then you talk to other bookkeeping business owners and you're like,
Yeah.
yeah, you guys get it. You know, it's like these clients just never give me their bank statements. It's
That's funny. Yeah, or complaining about QuickBooks. Like nobody knows the pain of that unless you're in the industry of like how the updates that QuickBooks has, the bank feeds being so glitchy. Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
feel that.
Yeah. So definitely a lonely support system, just kind of me and my dad up until I got into the bookkeeper launch with the Facebook group and then BKX and uh, just keeping up with them on social media, stuff like that for sure. Yeah.
Maxwell is if you look back, so you said 2018 was when you were is kind of where you started, right? Like when you started talking to us about your journey. That was 2018.
Yeah. Yeah. Like kind of the lowest point of my life.
Okay. So that's seven years ago, roughly.
Mhm.
If you looked if 2018 Maxwell saw where you are today, what do you think
Mhm.
like you think about current Maxwell?
Uh, I would think that I have more money than I actually have, but uh, in my mind back then, I would probably be like, oh my God, like you have a car, uh, you don't have any debt, you're paying, my take home pay is like like 7 times what it was like back then. It's just like yeah, I would think like, oh my God, like I never could have possibly imagined that I could be working for myself and making as much money as I do from a laptop, from a computer.
Yeah.
Um, and I would probably be very happy. I would definitely be very motivated,
Yeah.
especially for someone like me. I was never good in school. I never got good grades. I was, yeah,
I
yeah.
think it's important to like look back at those times. Um, I'm a big soccer fan, so I always look at things in the year of the World Cup, which is really weird. But I because it happens every 4 years, right?
Mhm.
And without a doubt, every time that the World Cup comes around, I think, wow, like the next one's going to be in 4 years. Where am I going to be in 4 years? And then during it, I'll think about like, where was I 4 years ago? And I think we move our own goalposts so much because we can be our worst critic. So like the Maxwell of 2 months ago may look at Maxwell today and be like, he's doing all right, right?
Mhm.
Like we're doing good, but we could do better. But
Yeah.
if the Maxwell from 7 years ago looked and was like, if you told yourself, hey, in 7 years we're going to be doing this, we're going to have our own business, we're going to be running our own business. The average client's paying us $400 a month. Some are paying us in the five figures
Mhm.
a month. Like I think you'd be like, holy crap, I'm actually that's amazing. Sign me up, right? Like how do I get there? So I think it's important to look back at those times where you are in a different place, right?
Mhm.
Because change doesn't happen overnight. Some people may look at you. You recently, like for example, you recently posted on Facebook a picture of you. I think you're like covered in flour
Yeah.
with an
Yeah.
apron,
Mhm.
and then where you are today. So like, if that person saw where you are today, like it'd just be amazing. Like I'm sure you'd be extremely proud of yourself.
Yeah, no, and I think I was almost not going to post that on Facebook just because it was like, I know I need to be doing the Facebook marketing and I'm like trying out this new thing, posting Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and it's like 75% should be business, 25% will be personal. And it was like a personal posting day. And I was just thinking like, I don't even know what I'm going to post. I don't feel like posting. And then I randomly saw someone like maybe it was trending at the time of the post, but I just saw people like 2020 versus 2025. A lot's changed, but it's I don't know. All their pictures were just like bathroom mirror selfies of them, and I guess I could do something like that. And so I looked back in 2020 and I saw like that's where kind of what you mentioned, like the goalpost has moved so much, like so much has changed, you forget to look back, and that's when I'm like, holy cow, yeah, I forgot that was working in a
Yeah.
kitchen like burning off my arm hair in the wood fire oven and scraping off flour after the shift off from my arms. And there's no time to really eat, but you're starving. You haven't eaten like 8 hours.
Yeah.
So, right before the rush, you have a glove and you just grab a meatball and you eat a meatball as fast as you can and throw the
Yeah.
glove in the trash. And it's like, now I can just like go downstairs and eat like food whenever I want. Like, so
Yeah.
yeah, no, I didn't even, I almost didn't even make that post. And I just thought, okay, you know what? I'll just post it just because. And it got a lot of positive feedback. But my hope was just like,
Yeah.
you know, I'm not a genius. I'm not smart. I just like, I don't know. I just kept at it. And, 5 years might sound like a lot, but again, like it went by in a blur, and
Yeah.
I'm glad I made the choices I did.
Well,
Because
I think we look at that and I think we can all relate to it, right? Because when we see somebody that is like ahead of us in our journey, so like for example, somebody that maybe is just now starting their bookkeeping business, they may look at you and think, "Wow, Maxwell really has this all together. Like he's what I consider success." And
Mhm,
I'm sure there's people that you looked up to and maybe still do and
mhm.
look at them and say, wow, like that's success. That's what I want for my business. There's people looking at you that way, believe it or not. And when you post something like that, I think people see that like, oh, Maxwell wasn't this overnight success, right? I
Mhm.
think I mean, you did say it. It's you're a hard worker, and there's no doubt about it. If you're working in the food industry, you're working multiple jobs to make ends meet. Somebody that's lazy is not doing that, right? So you obviously, I think people can just relate to that. Seeing a post like that saying that shows Maxwell is didn't always have it all together, and maybe you still don't, right? Like nobody has it all together, but
Yeah.
you'd be very proud of yourself if that person, that version of you would look at where you are today.
Yeah. No, 100%. And yeah, that was really my hope, is like, you know, I I just happened to stick with it for 5 years. And to like anyone listening now, like maybe they don't have a bookkeeping business or they do, and like during the early years, that's definitely rough because it's lonely if you don't have a community. Um, and it's tough. Like, I just remember so clearly, I felt like starting out, even with my dad's help, I just felt like there was a million little things I didn't know. It's like, oh yeah, I have to roll over, equity into retained earnings, and oh yeah, I've got to, amortize these loan payments, and it's just like, oh, I got to document this monthly closing task, or just little things that are just so impossible to find. Like, oh, maybe I got a purchase agreement for this client's vehicle purchase, but they didn't tell me that they're making extra payments towards the principal. They're also financing 4 other vehicles, and it's like all through the same company. You're like, which one is which? And like, I just remember scrambling so much, but I stuck with it, and
Yeah.
I still feel like I'm something I did learn is like I'm always dealing with problems. It's just I'd rather be dealing with the problems I am now versus the problems I was back in 2018 or 2020. Uh,
Yeah. So I assume where you are now isn't where you want to be in the next year, right? Like you want to continue to grow. Just based on what your growth has looked like now, I assume that you're the kind of person that's like you're not satisfied, right? Like you're
yep.
happy, you're joyful where you are, but you're not satisfied.
Mhm.
What keeps you going today? Like what is it that motivates you?
Uh, to be it's it's kind of tough. Like, I mean, really, what motivates me is I don't know. I do want to grow something bigger, and I kind of wrote out my 1 year, 2 year, 3, 4, 5 year goals with my business coach. Um, and doing that exercise kind of made me realize, like, why am I doing this again? Why am I doing this again? And then uh, I guess it still goes back to that one, my biggest why of like the travel, where the seed was planted. So I guess what does keep me going is like, I want to be able to build a business that can run and grow without me. Um, it pays me like a good amount of money per month, and I can travel the world um, whenever I want. It won't be just like, all right, I can travel so long as it's not like the first 10 days of the month, because I got all the month end closing tasks. So it's like,
Yeah.
I'd say that's like what's kind of driving me right now is I'm I'm running towards that goal of like an actual business, employees. I just I'm going through the first hiring process right now, actually, for an employee in training. Um, and yeah, that's what's driving me. Is just that business that can, have employees. I manage the managers, and it's growing, it's running. I've figured all this stuff out, and I'm able to travel whenever I want.
Is there anything like about your journey over the last 7 years that you've learned about yourself that you didn't know before? And I'll give an example to let you think.
Mm.
Um, During my journey, even, you mentioned the I Love Bookkeeping podcast. I was on the podcast. One of the issues that I had on there is I was very shy. I didn't like being on camera. I didn't like being on a microphone, and being live in any way, shape, or form.
Mm.
You can still see it a lot, actually, and being completely vulnerable. Here, you can hear it in me, and I see it. I see my videos, and I'm like, I still stumble on my words a lot because I'm like, there's still always that kid, right? That's like nervous. So there's always that, and that was my problem that I mentioned in the I Love Bookkeeping podcast, and and now something that I learned about myself is that I actually really enjoy it. I may not be good at it, but I really enjoy it. Like I love being on camera. I love talking to you here live, and getting. I think my favorite part about it is not necessarily the fact that I'm on camera, but because of it, I've got to meet some of the most amazing people in the world. So that's one thing I learned about myself is that I actually really love doing these kinds of conversations live, having a recording myself. I think it's been really great, and I've developed. I feel like I've developed a new skill that I continue to try to get better at. Is there anything like that you learned about yourself?
Yeah. Well, I mean, first of all, I never would have guessed. You definitely
Yeah,
seem comfortable on camera. But I don't know if it's like as as positive as yours, but something I've learned about myself would be I definitely beat myself up so much and struggle with I'm not good enough, um, which has kind of been like a double edged sword in the sense of I'm not good enough. And because of that, I'm going to buy this course. I'm not good enough. Because of that, I'm going to try to grow.
yeah,
But like, so it's really helped me in that sense of like, I'm not good enough. I need to get better. But so it's like helped me in that sense, but then it gets in the way, and I kind of like smash myself in between these two walls of like I'm pushing myself forward, like I'm not good enough. And then like when an opportunity arises, I probably won't take it because I'm not good enough. And so like I get smashed in between these two walls, and I'm like, then I just get frustrated with myself. So that's something I've learned a lot is like I definitely struggle with just like self doubt. I'm not good enough, which is weird because I talk to my clients, tax professionals, or I talk to my clients, and they're like, I don't know what I would do without you. And I'm just like, what? Okay. Or my clients, tax professionals, they in their own words, like, I'm so glad my client has found you. You're truly an asset to their company. Or another one where they literally tell me like they rave about me when in their office because and they're always shouting out like shout out to Max, like these books are so awesome, like thank you so much. And
yeah,
so stuff like and I talk to other bookkeepers too, and they're like, oh wow, no, I never would have thought of that, that's really smart. And I'm like, okay, maybe I am good enough, but I don't know, that's something I learned at least like in all of
yeah,
this. It's just like I just struggle with the self-doubt and not being good enough.
yeah. I think we all do, to an extent, that's the same. It's almost what I was saying, right? Like I
Yeah.
struggle with that. I think there is a healthy balance there, which you mentioned. It's not like you're not good enough. You are good enough, but you understanding what your weaknesses are so that you can continue to work on them. So I think just kind of switching the vocabulary a little bit. I think but you're spot on.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Now, Maxwell, you mentioned you had a 2 year arc where you were training. Who's your
Yeah.
favorite superhero?
uh oh gosh, it's so I don't know if I don't conventionally keep up with all the conventional superheroes, but I
There's too
do.
many of them now.
Yeah, but I mean, if it counts, like I'm a nerd and a geek, and I watch like a bunch of anime. Uh,
Okay.
so I doubt anyone. I don't know if anyone listening, watches anime, but I'd say the guy that's like coming to my head of like a really cool superhero is from this anime called My Hero Academia. The guy's name
I've
is
heard of that.
yeah, it's a cool one. It's a popular one for sure. It's like kind of mainstream, but still I
Yeah.
like it. But the guy's name is Lemillion, and I think why I liked him a lot is his superpower. He becomes like I don't want to say translucent, but it's a permeation. So if he holds his breath, he's able to like go through walls, go through clothes, go through people, and like become like invulnerable. Uh, but it was like a really difficult quirk or superpower for him to master, and it kept going back to everyone like looking up to him, like, "Whoa, this guy's like he's got such an overpowered quirk." But then it'd go back to him like training like 10 times more than everyone else
Yeah.
because he was like, it was like a tough quirk to learn. And then what like really sealed the deal of like, this guy is awesome is later in the anime, there's like a big bad villain and like he developed like these bullets that take away your superpowers. And so in the fight with this big bad villain, this guy's like, he can't be touched. All the bullets are going through him, but he's trying to protect this little girl. And so the guy points the gun at the little girl, and that's when like he doesn't use his superpower, so he gets shot with the bullet. Power goes
Okay.
away, and now he's like this normal guy. And like the big bad guy's like, oh, your superpower is taken away. You're not a superhero. And as in the middle of this guy's like evil dialogue, like he gets punched, and the guy's like, I'm not Lemillion because of my superpower. Like I'm Lemillion because of that's who I am. And so
Yeah.
yeah, he kept like fighting the dude. It was really cool. So
I love that. That's probably the nerdiest answer you could have possibly
yeah,
given.
it's I
I
mean,
love it though.
yeah, I'm a bookkeeper accountant, so
Yeah.
checks out.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I don't watch a lot of I haven't seen a lot of anime. The only
Mhm.
one that I got into, and I think it's mainstream too, is Death Note.
Oh, that's a good
And
one. Yeah.
yeah, that was a really good one. And I haven't really gotten into anything after that, but I thought that was really good. My favorite superhero is Batman, not because of anything cool,
Mhm.
like you said. I just think he looks awesome. His suit is awesome, and he's rich. Who doesn't want that?
Yeah.
So
Well, I think Batman's a cool guy too. I like how he's like he doesn't have any superpowers, but
yeah,
he's like a superhero that people like put him next to like Superman.
yeah.
Superman's like this insane alien, and he's
I
like,
just
oh
think he's overpowered. Yeah, like
yeah,
he's too much, too much.
yeah. But
I
no,
need my superhero to have some weaknesses.
yeah. That kind of makes him relatable and
Yeah.
yeah. No, I like that answer too.
Awesome. Hey, before we'll close up here, but is there anything that you can think of, like some advice maybe to somebody that is just now starting their bookkeeping business journey, either a bookkeeping business journey or maybe just a business, right? Maybe they're starting a different kind of business. Do you have any advice for that person?
I mean, I wish I can tell them like figure out your goal that what you want and make it like a super clear goal, but like looking back, like I didn't have this super clear goal. I just knew that like I just had to work. So honestly, the advice is like it's gonna be miserable, it's gonna be painful, regardless of like, oh, I'm in the wrong business. It's like, no, I think any business you're gonna be in, there's gonna be very, very low, like peaks and valleys, and the valleys will get very low, very miserable points. And the only thing that's like got me through it all is it wasn't like the shiny like goal at the end of the tunnel. It was just, I know if I can just show up, do the work, especially when I don't want to do the work, um, and just keep doing that every single day of like, oh, my Facebook post or whatever, like didn't get any engagement. And then you have to show up, wake up the next day and do it again and do it again and do it again. And so just being able to consistently get punched in the face and then show up the next day and do it again. And if you can just do that, like, the opportunity will present yourself. You're going to become better. And once the opportunity appears, you're going to be prepared because you got punched in the face 10,000 times in a row.
Yeah.
So
awesome.
that's what's worked for me, at least.
That reminds me of like I think of like boxers. They said like some of the best boxers are the ones that are able to take a punch, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because they can take it and just outlast you. So I love that analogy.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right. Well, Maxwell, thank you so much for joining us and spending the time with us and telling us a little bit about your story. I think there's going to be a lot of people that see this and see themselves in this. So I really appreciate you taking the time.
Yeah. No, it's an honor for me to be here, and I appreciate you having me.
And yeah, one last thing. Sorry, and I was about to shut off here, but do you have anything like? Do you have any way to connect with you? A preferred way to connect with you, your company, whatever you have? Is there something that you'd like to share?
Sure. I mean, I did create like a free stuff tab on my website where anytime I get like an idea of like, oh, this would have been really cool to have when I started out, or just like explaining concepts of like, why is my profit now in my bank account, stuff like that. It'll be on the free stuff tab on my website, ledgerframeworks.com.
Cool.
And I have started my own YouTube channel too. Originally, it was like Ledger Frameworks, but I'm leaning more into like this personal brand stuff. And so it's just my full name, Maxwell Stroup. And on there, I'm trying to, at least for now, I'm categorizing the videos as like QuickBooks tips, bookkeeping tips. And then I have one that's just like a category called For the Bookkeepers. And like, just like my thoughts on like, AI is not going to take over, kind of stuff like that.
Awesome.
Yeah, YouTube and my website.
Awesome. We'll make sure to link that in the show notes below. In the description, we'll have the link to your website and your YouTube channel. Thank y'all so much for watching. And again, I apologize for the bad video quality. I spoke with Maxwell off camera right after we stopped recording, and he did want me to mention that he mentioned a business coach during our interview. And the business coach that he was talking about is Ben Day, who is actually also one of our students that went through Bookkeeper Launch. And more importantly, he's also one of the instructors in the course. So we will add all of Ben Day's information because he does offer coaching as well. Maxwell really wanted everyone to know who his business coach was because it helped him grow his business. So we'll make sure to add that in the description below. Thank y'all again for watching. We'll see you guys on the next one.